Hello everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So you know that this is a British science fiction movie when in the beginning of the movie you are told how to pronunciate the place you're at, because it is not pronounced Io, it is pronounced Ao. And it is the third moon of Jupiter, and here some shenanigans happening. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a straight up remake of the movie High Noon. I'm saying that this is a much better version of a similar story to High Noon. But what is the movie about? What kind of shenanigans do happen on the third moon of Jupiter? Let's find out, shall we? This is Operation Outland. Jesus Christ, it's windy today. There's a mining operation on Ao where they mine, precious metals like titanium and various other metals. And somebody needs to uphold the law here, and they have just gotten their new marshal, William, played by Sean Connery. This is, another posting for him, and he has brought his family there, and his wife isn't too happy about it. She doesn't want to be in outer space anymore. She doesn't want to travel with him, from stations to stations and being miserable, and, what about your son? And he has never actually been on Earth. If you're thinking that this is going to be a situation where there's a lot of bitching and moaning and stuff like that, nope. No, they actually skipped that part, because she actually takes off after around, 20 minutes of the movie, leaving him a very emotional, basically Zoom call that tells him basically why she did it. I like that bit because it helps the movie focus more on what the story is about. Thank God this movie was not a lot of, bitching and moaning about you didn't see your son graduate from so-and-so or karate school or whatever. So William can just focus on upholding the law here. Usually it's, bar fights and, the occasional stabbings and stuff like that. Rowdy miners who, gets out of hand or roughs up some prostitute or something like that. He's just an honest cop who wants to, uphold the law and make sure that, nothing too serious happens. But there are things that is happening here at this mining colony, because some of the workers do get, freaked out and kills themselves and stuff like that. This is nothing new. There's a lot of pressure here. There's a lot of stress being here, and it is, close quarters, and some people just can't take it anymore and just offs themselves. But William starts to look a little further into this and finds a very unlikely ally in the shape of Dr. Lazarus, who basically is a Frances McDormand type of a character before a Frances McDormand type of a character actually, existed. I love her as a character. She's actually fucking great. Eventually, William finds out the horrible truth, which pisses off some very influential, very powerful, and very scrupulous individuals who will stop at nothing to silence him. And without any allies, and without any help from the outside, he's all alone against the threat that is coming to kill him. That is essentially our story. One of the best things that this movie does is hide the weaknesses and enhance the strength of this movie, because this is not made up of some kind of super budget, but they're able to hide this because they uses the sets in such a fantastic way. I love the sets in this movie, not because they look stylish or big or anything like that, but because they look real. In the same way that Alien, the sets there, in the Nostromo looked real. It felt like a place where, miners in outer space would, live. It's simple, it's basic, it's functional. Same thing here. And there's a foot chase in this where he's chasing after some bad guy who might have some information. And it's a very intense foot chase, and it's very, close quarter kind of a thing. I love that thing. Sean Connery is great in this one. He hasn't yet transitioned into, the elderly statesman who is expert at everything type of a character, his ultimate form. This stage is more of a old gunslinger type of a character, which is weird to have with Sean Connery, but it really works. The movie has a lot of tension to itself. The movie is very simple. The movie never overstays its welcome. We go to the end credits in under 110 minutes. Very impressive. Good God, how long this movie would have been if it would have been remade in the late 2000s or something like that. Apart from William himself, we actually do have a pretty nice gallery of colorful characters. But best are, of course, Peter Boyle as the company representative there on AO, and of course Francis Sternhagen, who plays Dr. Lazarus. The only part of the movie that really doesn't work is the part where they, go outside of the mining colony and are in fact in outer space. Those sequences have aged rather poorly and is, the only time of the movie where the movie doesn't really work as well as it done before. This was a bit outside of the reach of their budget, but apart from that, this movie was fucking excellent. If you don't like science fiction, there is a big chance that you will actually like this movie. If you like Western movies, you will also like this, because this is kind of a weird hybrid of the two genres that actually really works. If you have seen this movie, give it a rewatch. It's actually even better now than it was before, because it actually holds up. Operation Outland is not some big explosive action movie, but rather a crime thriller, and very good at it as well. Operation Outland, or Outland as I think it is also called, gets 80 points. I love this movie for how simple it is. I love this how well made it is. Peter Wimes have created a movie with a fantastic tone and a fantastic atmosphere. As I said, the only part that doesn't really work is when they go outside of the mining colony. But it isn't a very long sequence, and when it's over we can go back to the awesomeness again. I love the tension to itself. It's a pretty good detective story also, and you're really behind William as a character. Honest cops fighting against injustice is also a very easy protagonist to get behind, and William is very likable in that sense. So I'll see you next time for Well So and So reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.